This is IGN. Xbox Game Pass is once again in the firing line. This is IGN News. Hot on the heels of former Bethesda executive Pete Hines questioning Xbox Game Pass as a business strategy, a former Microsoft executive has backed the comments, insisting Microsoft's subscription service creates, quote, weird inner tensions. Last week, Bethesda Softworks' former senior vice president of global marketing and communications, Pete Hines, said gaming subscription services like Xbox Game Pass are worth jack shit if the game developers who create content for them are not properly supported. Subscriptions have become the new four-letter word, right? You can't buy a product anymore, Hines said. When you talk about a subscription that relies on content, if you don't figure out how to balance the needs of the service and the people running the service with the people who are providing the content, without which your subscription is worth jack shit, then you have a real problem. Over on LinkedIn, former PlayStation exec Sean Layden expressed support for Hines' comment, saying it hits this nail right on the head. The question is not, is the service profitable for the platform? Layden, a vocal critic of video game subscription services, added. Is it healthy and helpful for the developer is what we need to ask. Layden's comment prompted a comment from former Xbox Game Studios VP Shannon Loftus, which was spotted by Tweaktown, who provided some insight that benefits from coming from a former Microsoft employee. Loftus, who retired from Microsoft in 2022 after 29 years at the company, served as a manager on several Xbox projects, including Fable, Viva Pinata, Banjo-Kazooie, and Age of Empires. As a longtime first-party Xbox developer, I can attest that Pete is correct, Loftus said. While Game Pass can claim a few victories with games that otherwise would have sunk beneath the waves, like Human Fall Flat, for example, the majority of game adoption on Game Pass comes at the expense of retail revenue, unless the game is engineered from the ground up for post-release monetization. I could and may someday write pages on the weird inner tensions this creates. The suggestion Game Pass comes at the expense of retail revenue is a long-standing criticism of the subscription service, one Microsoft was forced to admit in 2023. There has been much debate recently over the profitability of Xbox Game Pass, which Microsoft itself has said makes money even when factoring in the development cost of the games that launch within it and the lost sales of first-party games which people no longer need to pay individually for. Regardless, Xbox Game Pass remains a huge profit driver for Microsoft, which said in June that the subscription service had reached a new annual record of nearly $5 billion in revenue for the first time, following the launches of The Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered, Doom: The Dark Ages, and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest game and console updates, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.